Morning, folks. Nice, brisk, cool day this morning. Cool ain't the word for it. Canada, come get your air back. Oh, Lord. Well, let's talk about somebody that you ain't never heard of that is one of the biggest pain in the asses in the state of Texas. There's an old boy by the name of Chris Paddie. And what the big deal is with Chris Paddie is he was on the House Affairs Committee. Actually, he chaired the House Affairs Committee here in Texas. And, you know, in Texas, we have this weird habit of having things done in departments that don't really bear their name, or, you know, so what they oversee in part is, and they're the primary oversight of, is our power grid. Legislative oversight of our power grid. Well, old Chris Paddie, he wrote the bill here in Texas after we had our snowpocalypse a couple years ago where so many people died, that laid out what we were going to do after that. And basically it was he was going to bend over everybody here in Texas and force us to pay power grids for the money they lost when we lost power. He's, responsible for our bills going up through the roof so that power companies can get their money back they lost. When they had to go buy expensive power from other grids that they weren't affiliated with, they had to go buy energy on the open exchange, and they lost a lot of money. It happens. Well, they weren't going to eat that, and old Chris Paddie made sure of it. Well, here's where it gets even dirtier. This is where it gets straight up Republican for you, because in red states, laws aren't for Republicans. In red states, the laws are for Democrats and poor people. That's the only people that really get the law enforced on them. If you got influenza and you're a little white kid and you go murder some people with your truck, like happened up in Dallas a couple of years ago, well, you don't see a lot of jail time. You can destroy people's lives if you're a rich white person around here. Laws don't apply to you. All you got to do is put a little R behind your name. It's like the old get out of jail free card on the Monopoly board. Well, old Chris Paddie used his get out of jail free card because in 2019, we passed a revolving door law here in Texas. Says you can't leave the legislature and immediately go to work for, basically, you just can't go to work as a lobbyist as soon as you leave. It's a little bit more broken down than that, a little more nuanced than that, but that's the gist of it. It's a revolving door law that's got some dog doors in it if you really want to get on your hands and knees and crawl out. Well, old Chris Paddie resigned his position and immediately went to work as a lobbyist. And folks said, hey, wait a minute. These people pay you, you resign, then you become a lobbyist for them and start spreading money around the hill for them. Talking about the energy companies, and namely the largest in Texas, a company called Vista. But anyways, this is where it gets really good. People called him out and said, that's illegal. That's a crime. You can't do that. So he closes his eyes real hard and says out loud 3 times, clicking his heels together, I'm not a lobbyist. I'm not a lobbyist. I'm not a lobbyist. And he's no longer a lobbyist. So we just ignore that crime. Well, he doesn't want to wait. He doesn't want to, we tried that last year. He doesn't want to wait. He doesn't want to wait the mandatory amount of time that is required for him to become a lobbyist, because, got to strike when that iron's hot, Got to strike when you still got those relationships. Got to strike when everybody still knows your name and is willing to throw money at you to be a lobbyist. So he figured out a way around that. See, the law basically says it's, like I said, it's got holes in it all over the place. It basically says if you take money from an industry, you can't be a lobbyist for them for 3 years. So what he's doing is he's trying to make the situation unpregnant. He's trying to have a financial abortion, is what he's trying to do. He's going to pay back the money that he took from these companies, supposedly, pay back the money, and therefore declare himself clean, and he can be a lobbyist today. It doesn't work that way. One, his ass is not a money printing machine. He cannot shit money. That money comes from somewhere. And that money he's been getting has been coming from power companies. So he's going to what? Take money from the power companies to pay the power companies back? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's circular logic that does not work. It does not work. That's a bent circle right there. But that's what he's going to do. And Republicans are going to let him get away with it, even though it violates the spirit of the law. They're going to blow a bulldozer-sized hole in the law that they claimed made them, uncorrupt here in the state of Texas, so that they can do this. If you want to become a lobbyist for somebody in the state of Texas, instead of waiting your mandatory waiting time, now all you got to do is get them to give you enough money to pay them back. You following me? You hand me $1 million check, I write you $1 million check, and all I got to do is say, well, that's for that money that you gave me when I was, in the government. It's a load of bullshit, folks. And only Republicans could get away with that, because if a Democrat was doing that, they'd be screaming to high heaven. They would be prosecuting today. Today they would be prosecuting. But old Chris Paddie, he's lobbying today. He's lobbying today for power companies in the state of Texas. And oh, by the way, it's 9 degrees outside, and we're all just waiting for the power grid to fail. They can't govern. They can't do what they need to do. But when it comes to corrupt shit, they're creative as hell. Every damn problem this state faces is because of Republicans. They've run this state for 25 years. And then you got idiots around here that are like, the problem's the Democrats. It's the Democrats. We ain't run anything for a quarter century around here. Well, it's Joe Biden. What the hell does Joe Biden have to do with our corrupt ass lobbying laws? Nothing. That's Republicans doing that. They are violating their own laws. They will not apply their own laws to their own people. They will let people openly commit crimes as long as they've got an R behind their name. Now, no, and it applies to everything. It applies to everything. If you're DWI, driving while intoxicated here in the state of Texas, man, if you are a Democrat, you will get prosecuted immediately. Or if you are a poor person, you will get prosecuted immediately. If you are a rich Republican, you can kill somebody driving drunk, and you will go home. You will not be held even during your trial. And your sentencing will be suspended, or your sentencing will you'll serve no jail time. It'll be probation, or it'll be deferred adjudication, but you go be a Democrat and you're going to jail. I say, Chris Paddie needs to go to jail. That's what I say. He was in the legislature when they passed that law. He knows about it. He voted on it. Now he's spitting in our face. I don't know about you, but I think old Chris Paddie needs to go to jail. What about you? Love you folks. Hit that subscribe button. This old Texas Paul. Y'all have a wonderful day.
Our blue wall stopped the red wave and election deniers got denied election. That's why we're celebrating with the new Democracy Prevails team. We've got lots of work to do, but we should all be proud that when democracy was tested, democracy prevailed. You've earned this. Don't wait. Get yours right now at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.